Hi, welcome to Sama, Seattle Circuit Music and Art. Thank you so much for being here. We're in a interesting time, as I often say. But why stop saying it? It is an interesting time. We just got some good news on the election, and my friend right now, who I'm interviewing right now, Ankur Malhotra, who is the co-founder and director of Amarrass Records, which puts out the work of this artist that we're going to be talking about today, Lakha Khan. He's in Delhi right now. He lives also part of the time in Wisconsin. And it's great to have him here. And we're all feeling that kind of feeling we do when the election went a good way. Okay, we're feeling a little bit better. Hi, Ankur. As everybody knows that's been watching Sama, this is going to be a concert series. We're kind of in upside down world. But we will have Lakha Khan come to the Northwest and hopefully the West Coast because he is amazing. And I've been a fan for a while, and I didn't know that you were working with him. And he's got a fascinating story. You're going to see some beautiful footage and hear this evocative instrument, the 27-string Sindhi Sarangi. And you've heard this, and I remember hearing this on various remixes, and I've heard it on traditional pieces. I've heard it in Bollywood movies. There's something amazingly powerful about this instrument. But tell me first, give me a brief story of Lakha Khan. He is part of a long tradition of musicians in northern India and Rajasthan, performing for royalty and continuing the story of this type of music and the stories that go along with it. There aren't many left, so he's got a fascinating story. Please tell me more about him, Uncle.
Belongs to this community of musicians known as the Manganiyars or Manganiyars, and they've been performing music for over 400 years in this northwestern part of India, Pakistan, the desert region. And as you said, traditionally they've performed for royalty, the kings and queens of the region, but also the landowners, the Rajputs, upper class in this area. And so they've been the historians, they've been keepers of this oral tradition of history, of valor, of singing songs in praise of deeds, but also songs about the environment, about the space that they live in and the space that they come from. And he's all of 74, 76 years old. Age becomes kind of nebulous in that part of the world. And as I said, so he's been performing for all of 50 plus years. He started playing under the aegis of the late Komal Kothari, a great ethnomusicologist out of India, toured all over the world as part of the Festival of India series, which traveled around the world. And then once Komal Kothari passed away, he kind of dropped off, stopped performing, publicly at performances, and then we started Amarrass back in 2010, and again referencing back to the Sarangi and the sound of the Sarangi, which is, you can hear it in Bollywood, you can hear it in all sorts of music, and the music that I kind of grew up surrounded with, growing up in India. Music is not something that you actively seek. It surrounds you, whether you go to the market or you go to the temple or you're just sitting at home and it's blaring from some auto rickshaws going by.
Yeah.
But we never connected with it in that sense. And I think about a decade ago, 2009, 2010, my label partner, longtime friend from 40 plus years, Ashutosh and I, we've been thinking about who are the Indian greats, in terms of folk music or the blues of India, because I'm a big fan of the American blues, the Delta blues, and trying to find that equivalence here. And a matter of shame for us was that we couldn't really come up with names. So, we're not classically trained or just trained in music. We're just lovers of music. And that kind of started our journey into the desert. At that point, we just had 2 microphones, and one of our friends from another great channel, NPR, donated his old cassette recorder to us.
Right on.
And we just went driving into the desert, 900 kilometers, starting village to village, to find some of these folks and start recording them. And that was our first interaction and the beginning with Lakha Khan. And there's some funny stories there too, because we showed up at his door 8 o'clock one evening. It's dark, and these are two city slickers essentially showing up. And he's seen plenty of those in his lifetime, and he said, "I'll record one for you, and then you can basically go away." And we said, "Sure, we'll take that." And but we promised him that we will come back to you with these recordings done and show them to you. And he said, "Yeah, I'll see that when that happens, because that's been promised to me a lot of times." So that was the beginning 10 years ago. And 3 months later, we're back at his home with actually our first CD, which was called Mitha Bol, which featured one of his recordings. And then he started looking at us in a different light. And that was the beginning of a long, beautiful relationship, 10 years, as I said. And here we are, sharing more of his music with the rest of the world.
Very Raiders of the Lost Ark of you. Just get out there and find it. It's a powerful story too, because we know that a lot of this music is fading. Unfortunately, it's not being carried on generationally, or it's just development. Things come in, other musical pressure manifests itself. Whether it's indigenous, like. Well, not indigenous actually, but like native, like Bollywood, inevitably it's like, it's got to sound like Bollywood. You'll find that in hip hop, and you find that in other forms. As soon as something's successful, there's a huge amount of pressure for musicians to sound like that. But his music, and listening to it and seeing how he's playing, I wanted to talk a little bit about the purpose of the music in a context of how it makes you feel. I mean, it's this is a program that's focusing on transcendent music, healing music, the role of music to connect people with the environment, with themselves, with others. There's something in the way he's performing just makes me feel like he's connecting to something that is truly ancient, and with that there is some kind of wisdom. I might be oversimplifying it, but it feels like that, and I'm seeing this right now as I do more and more of these types of interviews and live streams, is that there's this connection to something ancient, not in a way that ancient was better, but it was just a little more intertwined or intermingled with the way people lived in society, lived in nature, lived with themselves, a sense of yourself, where we're missing right now. And it feels like you can't really, it's not like something you can go through to get there. We're not going to get there by more technology. We're not going to get there by raising our forest or going into VR world. Like we have to have some kind of other connection. And artists such as Lakha Khan seem to have created a musical expression of that. Am I insane, Encore, or is this something that resonates?
It is insane, and one of our kind of qualifying factors is, does this music give me goosebumps? And that was from day one. And he is indeed, channeling some higher powers and some deep knowledge and some deep wisdom, which has made me a better person. Sitting down with him, listening to these stories, and trying to interpret them for the rest of the world has definitely made me more knowledgeable and made me understand the value of spirituality a lot more. And that has been his purpose. So it has been what he talks about, what he sings about, what he lives by, and every breathing moment, I would say. And there's another story we talk about, this music kind of disappearing and going away. And that was also one of the things. So when we first met him, his son Dane, who's also going to be featured with the music, who plays the dholak, he was driving a truck at that point. And for Laka, when we first met him, he was sad because he was going to be the seventh and possibly the last continuer of this ancient tradition in his family. And so he gave us, so we had this conversation with him that we wanted to take this music out there and share his wisdom with the rest of the world. And at that point, he gave us a counter. He said that the only way I'll do that is if my son accompanies me, takes care of me because I'm an old man. And then we countered back to him saying that, well, we will do that, provided that he's playing with you. And then that started this process of Dane coming back into the fold, playing the dholak, and starting to learn the sarangi. And that's going to be a special we will have on this show, first live broadcast of Dane accompanying his father on the sarangi. With Lakha Khan, I remember another story where, he says that when he got married back in the day, he carried his sarangi with him to the marriage ceremony because that came first, even before the wife. And and he maintains that. So it took, today I'm allowed to hold it and touch it because I have, I think, earned that respect.
Wow.
Him. But for years when we were touring, it would not leave him. So even to travel internationally, we actually booked an extra seat next.
Oh, really?
For the sarangi to sit there, so we could make sure that this invaluable instrument would carry the music with along with it and without getting destroyed by TSA.
I am so glad that you're sharing this work. I'm so glad that you're keeping him, letting the people know that he's there, that this music is there, that this beautiful culture, that it continues. That well done, Ankor. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Sama.
गुरु गुण रे गुरु भाव रे गुरुदेवन के दे सेलायत सावरा करे गुरा की सेल गुरु गोबंद दोनों खरे में किसके लागो पाओ बलिहारी गुरुदेव की मोहे गोबंद दी